In yesterday's video, I had a discussion about whether or not you should watch the Persona 4 anime or Persona 4 the animation, and in that analysis I said, yes, you should. But realistically speaking, where there's a yin, there's a yang, and unfortunately that brings me to today's topic. Persona 5 the animation. I know. It's not a bad animation. For those who have watched it, it's not bad at all. In fact, it's a good anime. But there's a huge difference between what the 4th animation or Persona 4 the animation offers and what Persona 5 the animation offers. Because there's a big difference between the two, and I think that those who are just regular anime watchers or just who are bored and want to watch something new, well, maybe you shouldn't watch this show. We'll get into it in a second. Before that, let's first talk about what exactly was this whole thing about. Long story short, the Persona 5 anime obviously revolves around the Persona 5 video game, which came out in 2017. This anime came out in 2018, I believe. And then the re-release, Persona 5 The Royal, came out in 2019. So is there going to be a Persona 5 Royal anime in 2021? You bet your fucking ass there is. I can't guarantee anything, but we all know deep down inside it's going to happen, whether or not we wanted to or not, which wouldn't be bad to see one. However, Persona 5 the anime definitely was a little underwhelming to say the least. What the hell was that noise? The major reason why I personally found it to be underwhelming was that it just felt a lot more bland than Persona 4 did. I don't know if it was because it was less comedic than Persona 4, which it definitely was, or if there was less action, which honestly, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch both of them almost simultaneously in order to really determine that. And I think more often than not, the bias plays in that Persona 4, in my opinion, was a better game than Persona 5. I know I am the only person to fucking say that, but I just have that personal thing. And I know that Persona 5 was a better overall game. Trust me, I know that. However, I do have a few problems with this anime that I kind of feel like 4 doesn't get slack for, even though it kind of should. The major one I remember thinking about when I first watched it was, Royal comes out in 2019, and the dub for this show came out, for this anime came out in like 2020, sometime this year. What the fuck? Why didn't they just release a Persona 5 Royal anime? Well, the answer is, I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Frankly, I have no idea why they didn't do that. I can't tell. But the same thing happened with 4. The Persona 4 animation came out in 2011, and then Golden came out in 2012. So I don't know why the hell this happens with the animes. I really don't care either. Frankly, it just doesn't bother me at this point. But there are major issues with the Persona 5 anime that I am going to discuss. And the first one, obviously, is that it's pretty bland. All animes have a certain magnitude of seriousness and comedy. I mean, it's just something we usually see. There are a few animes that aren't funny, but, you know, JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, even Attack on Titan, I believe, has some sort of comedic outlet to it. Or at least a joke every now and again. You don't see that very often with 5. I think the whole point that 5 was trying to make was that it was trying to be a trend follower, in a sense that, like, I remember the Instagram community was going fucking ape shit when they found out Ryuji had said yeet, like, in 2020. Yeet. That's pretty fucking stupid. And then watching the actual show was no different. There was barely any comedy from what I remember, and to be honest, it was a lot more serious than what most would have assumed, I guess. And that's not a big deal. A show can be serious if the elements are right, and the elements weren't necessarily wrong, but they weren't great either, to a certain extent. Like, I can come up with a few examples of like times where the seriousness of Persona 5 was great, but I don't think that matters to the regular anime watcher. You want to have a show that's fun to watch for number 1, because it's an action and there's a lot of fight scenes or whatever. Number 2, because it's a comedy and it's funny as shit. Or number 3, because it's both. You don't really want a serious anime that doesn't do a lot of action, because then what ends up happening is it's just boring, I guess you could say. I wouldn't say this anime was boring, but it's just, if you're a regular anime watcher and you've never watched or played a Persona game, yeah, no, you're not gonna like this anime. On top of that, the fight scenes weren't as great as they were in 4, which, to be honest with you, is kind of weird, but whatever, I don't really judge. And my final issue with this anime is obviously that you can only watch it on Funimation, which means you could probably watch it bootleg anywhere else. but it aired, at least the dub, only the dub actually aired on Funimation's kind of Disney Plus-esque subscription service. And boy, oh boy, was that not a fun time. It's weird. It's honestly just weird, really, to say the least. Because I'm pretty sure Hulu has the Persona 4 animation, and it's in dub. I don't really know why 5 has that. Blows my fucking mind. I have no clue. But I don't know. I guess it's not that big of a deal. But also at the same time, you know, you have to pay to watch the dub, the dubs is a pretty important thing that I'll talk about in a second. So all the hardcore anime fans are going to say, but what's wrong with watching the show dubbed? It doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you? Well, the reason is because if you are a Persona fan, you've probably only played it on the English version, unless you're one of those really hardcore fucking SMT fans, not Persona fans, SMT fans, who gets the Japanese import version of Persona 5 Scramble, because fuck it, why not? Which people do, and that's perfectly fine. If you are okay with watching it in subtitles, be my guest. But as someone who has watched and who has played the games, it's kind of weird because I've never heard of a Persona game where it's just Japanese talk. I've never heard of it. I've never looked it up on YouTube. I've never put any thought into it. Personally, I couldn't fucking care less how this ends up playing through with the subtitles. All I care about is the dub. Because frankly, as someone who wears hearing aids, it's pretty annoying watching subtitles. It's fucking terrible watching closed captions. I damn well am not gonna fucking try and do that on my own volition. I'm gonna listen to what I have to hear. So that's just a personal thing. It doesn't really matter what your opinion is on subs or dubs, because dubs are clearly obviously better. Duh, come on. But subtitles and dubs out of the side, it was onto the side. Holy shit. It still was pretty important to understand that if you wanted to watch this show on a certain kind of platform, you had to get a subscription service. It's pretty stupid, but I don't know, I guess it worked. Yeah, I got it. I didn't spend money. I got the free trial, obviously, but I got it. And I bet there were tons of people who did the exact same thing. But even if you could watch it for free, I still would not recommend it. And I know that I said in the very beginning when I first watched it, I was like, yeah, I totally would recommend it, you know, to the regular anime watcher. I really don't feel that way about it anymore, because the more that I think back on it and I reminisce of what was in that anime, the less I can think of things to reminisce about. And it's not that I've forgotten anything. I think the most memorable moment of the show was in the very end when Akechi is like, you know, talking to you from the fucking afterlife or wherever he is, and he's like, what, you're just gonna give up like that? That's a tearjerker, because that's a dude who fucking died, number one, and number two, you knew since the game first came out. But that's the point, I guess, realistically, is that if you really wanted to watch this anime, unlike the Persona 4 anime, you'd actually have to play the game, because then you'd feel what you would normally feel when watching the show. If you're just a regular anime watcher and you're like, hey, maybe I should try it out, do it at your own risk. You're gonna get fucking bored. I mean, that's just how it is. Personally, I didn't feel that way because I'm a Persona fan and I played Persona 5 millions of times over. But that aside, it's important to understand that in order to truly enjoy this anime, you have to play the game. It sucks to say that. I wish I didn't have to say that, but I do. So yeah, especially if you're talking about, you know, getting into the anime and enjoying it, you're really not going to be able to do that unless you actually play the, man, that laundry, that fucking washer is just out of control. I don't know what's going on. You guys probably can't hear it. But yeah, if you really want to get dedicated to this, not dedicated, but invested, you know, kind of be happy and enjoy the anime, you're really not going to feel that way with 5. It sucks to say that. I hope with Royal they change it up so that there's a difference. I know that between 4 and before the 4 animation and the golden animation, there was a big difference. Hopefully there is, but with 5 and Royal, but I don't know. I don't think there is, but whatever. Either way, it doesn't matter. So Thank you guys so much for tuning in to day 9. Yeah, day 9 of our Christmas special. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, comment your favorite part of the video, and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike. I don't care. Make sure you click the bell to be notified on every other Christmas video that I upload, and if you missed any Christmas videos, links are in the description down below. And as always, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.